And how was your weekend? Mine was good.
What's going on, my beautiful gun excusers, gun therapy patients, gun glazers of doom, gun strikers of truth, gun camping for some hope? Oh, well.
The future of the DCU. Do you want to know what it is? Do you want to know? Do you... Welcome to the desert of the real.
I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop. I want out!
Yeah, 2026 stands as the most glorious year for the Snyder fans, perhaps since the confirmation of the Snyder Cut's release. All pieces fallen into place, all suspicions and suspects coming together and confirm them. Well, the doctor's just in and gave the diagnosis up. Supergirl is bad, as well as the DCU.
No, don't say that.
But if 2026 is our lucky number, guess what number is yours lucky number? Yes, in addition to 42, of course. Do you give up?
Quit! Quit!
We could start with 62, but we had already going to 80. Yeah, 80. 62 at first, 68, but apparently someone wanted her money back. $1 million, I suppose, as the global opening, more like shutting up Supergirl. I mean, movie theaters already trashing Supergirl marketing material right at the first weekend.
Per THR, the estimates are even lower, now at 8.5 million, representing an 80% drop. Because it's getting outbeat by the George Washington movie, which is absolutely funny. And I'm actually hearing that that's actually a good movie. Imagine that, a good movie outperforming a bad movie, even though it's a high budget movie. Everything that the DCU bums have been talking trash about with BVS's drop, and just with everything, it's came full circle. It's came full circle at them. And I do agree, it should have hit $1 billion. And it would have hit $1 billion and more if studio interference didn't get mixed in. If Zack had full creative control that James Gunn has, DC would be in great shape right now. He would have been able to tell his full story arc, and fans would be happy, and we would be happy with a reboot. However, the past has happened, and now guess what? The same trash that they've been talking, now Supergirl has had a 80% drop. 80% drop. Oh my goodness. A lot of us seen this. We've seen the patterns. We've seen how it's going to play out. And that is exactly how it's playing out. So we just need to go ahead, pack the DCU up, get it on out of here because it's horrible. It's horrible. The brand deserves so much better.
And well, it is a phenomenal percentage of drop of Supergirl in its second weekend, losing to young George Washington. Amazing times. But don't you worry, young Glazers, there's still some salvation.
Keep your heads, folks. Don't get excited. Don't get excited!
Yes, we've been telling you woodheads since ever, but guess what? You refuse to believe, puking your retarded intellects all around the internet with damn excuses, damn made-up stuff to dissemble this utter cake of a mess and manure. But wait. Det hade varit fråga för that David Edison the James got and big chattering I should imagine that work is fine and that if you will thrive forever. And I don't know. Do you think that David Ellison still thinks after these two disastrous dropping weekends that the DCU and James Gunn are great?
Well, Petey, I think we can feel safe, man. I mean, Davey came. He shook our hands. He said he liked us.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jimbo. Everybody says the man is full of teeth and jaws, but he's okay.
He likes our job. He's a big fan.
Yeah, I can feel that. He's with us. He's all for us.
He's definitely one of us.
Way to go, Jimbo.
And we can rest assured nothing is going to change that. 4 more years. Yeah, for both of us. Contracts extensions for everybody.
Excuse me, sir. This just in. I think thanks to the girls, results have finally...
Alrighty, Jarbus. Thank you, and...
Holy mother of turds!
That is not what I expected.
Oh my god. But do you think that David Ellison has internet on his private jet? Bruh. What's that noise?
This is my banger for Comic Con 2027.
Yeah!
Yeah. Now let's take a little look at this lame Hollywood reporter that brought so much hope to the Gunverse fans. It says that a certain producer from Supergirl said that so far everything going good, but well, that was it before the true disaster that Supergirl is. And I'm so sorry, but the Ellisons are not renowned for being a charity corporation. They're a money family, and that's it. Now do the math, and well, July's coming. You think they're gonna look at Spider-Man, The Odyssey, and the end of the summer and think, yeah, the DCU can work next summer? We warn you, Gunnisters. Supergirl is the death, Spider-Man the service, and the murder is the burial.
Jimmy! Help me!
However, amazing as it is, some shows are still standing for this utterance of anti-cinema, anti-VC, and anti-realism, and of course, they're standing for it only because it means something political or ideological, which is sad but expected from Neil minds such as Street 31's, aka Trader 24/7's.
I thought Millie Alcock is fantastic. I thought Jason Momoa as Lobo was perfect casting. He was great in this film. And I thought Craig Gillespie did a really solid job in bringing Supergirl to life. So obviously this is a minor speed bump in the James Gunn DCU road. Nothing substantial that will tear down or see the collapse of the DCU. Not at all. This is just the growing pains of the DCU that James Gunn and Peter Safran will sit back, reassess, and learn from what they did right and what they did wrong. And honestly, I don't even think James Gunn and Peter Safran did anything wrong. It's just this weird narrative that has been surrounding Supergirl. And even people who really like Supergirl are just completely dumbfounded by the reaction, because so it's just a lot going on. Very strange things surrounding Supergirl. And again, if you don't like the film, that's completely understandable. Films are subjective, but it is just an odd thing to see all the media just be very weird around this film, especially for a Supergirl film. But nonetheless, like I said, James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to take a step back and reassess Supergirl's plans for the future. Millie Alcock is not going anywhere, because for the most part, everyone that can agree on is that Millie Alcock is fantastic, and she's going to be in Man of Tomorrow. Super excited about that.
Okay, the levels of Gunn, Gleason, and copium have reached all times high, to the point of blurring common sense and reason. Hollywood Reporter brought us news that sound like old, because we knew since day one that Jamie Gunn would make this movie on his own, in fact, and in the end. Actually, you would have rumors that he searched like crazy for music that it would vamp the movie up. You know, that middle drop by the end of Supergirl, that ridiculous moment. Yeah, it's his thing. And, well, such big news, right? He heavily interfered in the actual direction of Supergirl. And that's a Class A unforgivable sin, because he promised this DCU would be an unparalleled fountain of freedom, devoid of the fight-gizmos we saw in the MCU. But guess what? He's done worse.
So what we recently found out is that, one, they were trying to find the perfect song for the end for the needle drop when she finally becomes Supergirl. First and foremost, Craig said that they tested about 45 different songs, and that it was James Gunn's choice and ruling that the song that made it into the final cut was what they were going to go with. Oh wow, so James Gunn literally picked the worst possible needle drop of all time. That's impressive. But it doesn't stop there. Craig also revealed that James Gunn forced him to change the Supergirl script multiple times, that the end result is what we're seeing in the final cut of the film. One thing that James Gunn said multiple times about Supergirl is that the script, when it was handed in the first time, was so good and so solid and such a vision that they had to get it made, which is why they got Craig on board so quick, and this is the second DCU film.
Yeah, and that video came from one of Snyder's fiercest haters, but hey! There is always someone who enjoys being a total idiot, nevertheless, right?
Filming wrapped in May 2025, and as early as the fall of that year, the studio and Gillespie knew the movie was not working. After a December test screening proved to be just okay, Anna Naguara is not getting any of the blame whatsoever, so she wasn't behind the mess here. All the blame is currently on Craig Gillespie, which is unfortunate, because I do think that Craig Gillespie is a really solid director, and I do think that he really made a solid movie, but unfortunately, half of the critics wasn't a big fan of this movie. The general audience didn't, or most of the general audience did not resonate enough with this movie to go back to it again and again like Superman did. It's just one of those things where, you know, all the ingredients were right, but the main course just didn't come out the way that it should have. The one thing I do find encouraging is that James Gunn and Peter Safran knew that the film wasn't working due to the test score audiences being low, and the fact that Craig Gillespie's Supergirl, his cut of the film was only 11 minutes longer and featured more of the villain creme. However, it tested 2 points below the studio's cut. So James Gunn, Peter Safran, and Jeremy Slater's rewrite of the script or changes to the story, James Gunn's cut tested better than Craig Gillespie's. So which again is an improvement, but not enough
The glazing. Oh, the pathetic glazing is so thick you can cut with an axe. And just like you, I'm sure the blame game won't be over until Gunn is out, sooner than the Glazers expect. The most amazing phenomenon is also taking place. Tons and tons of channels and even X profiles are popping with heavy criticism on Gunn and praising Zack Snyder, who's soaring, flying high, 3 projects, one of them with A24, and still posting about DC. But then he gave up. You have to move on like he moves, snyderverse. And some flat dung glazers, realizing the water into the boat, sinking it, are now changing the flavor of their spice a little bit at least.
I've never sat there and said, oh, this person is the #1 DC creator of all time. Star Wars has always been my first love. Love DC, but Star Wars has always been my first love. I don't care who runs DC. I care about them creating a vision, creating a plan that is going to have some longevity. So, when it comes to James Gunn, if he were to leave tomorrow, would I still be a fan? Yeah, I would be. I would not sit there and start screaming for boycotts. That's not how a rational person acts. And in my subjective opinion, the DCU's going along pretty well. I enjoy it thus far. I think I'll enjoy Supergirl. Now let's move over to the elephant in the room. I like Superman that James Gunn made. I like that movie. I do. But Man of Steel is better. It's just, that's how I feel. Batman v Superman is a good movie. Is it great? No. I will say that the last 40 minutes of that movie might be one of my favorite 40 minutes of a superhero film. And then Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's a fantastic film. So he did well with DC. I've never had a problem with what he made in DC. So when it comes down to it, I don't have an issue with Zack Snyder. I own many of his films, and I watch them to this day. I recommend them to people. I absolutely criticize James Gunn. There's this thought that if you're a fan of James Gunn, then you hate Zack Snyder. And I think that's kind of ridiculous, because I don't think that's the case at all. I think, for the most part, most people are just fans of DC. There's not much that we as these little people can do that as much as you want to say, oh, if we stand up and don't pay our money, wallet's closed.
You're lying, sir. If you hate Snyder fans, and yes, you do, you hate Snyder too, because Snyder loves his fans, all of them. And not one single Snyder fan is just as fanatic and toxic and hostile and violent like you don't are cowardices.
Oh well, the second post I put is the full clip.
Go with that one first next time.
Like James Gunn's little bitches who are giving me that problem.
What problem?
That should be a clip out, right?
Listen, I don't want to hear you gun nuts talking about Snyder Bros, because apparently gun nuts are intense too.
The glazing has created this strange effect of idiotic guntars trying to save the DCU or creating expectations of their future releases. This army of gun shows are now proposing solutions on how to keep the DCU, how to save this universe, and to fix it to finally become what James Gunn promised, lying in the beginning. Why, fellas? Why? Please stop.
This is a message to you, man. If you're even watching this, probably not ever, but somebody has to send this to you, okay? James Gunn, many people are going to be calling for your DCU to be completely erased and rebooted. I'm not one of them. I do have faith in the potential of this franchise, this series. A lot of people might call me crazy and delusional, but I do. But James, we need to have a very, very honest discussion about the future of the DCU and how we're going to shape it. I think there's an idea of a DCU that's simply beyond maybe what you're making. First things first, get off from Twitter, get on YouTube and watch my video, okay? Stop fucking tweeting on Twitter. Stop responding to every single comment, going at fans. Stop this. With the knowledge that all of these projects are happening. I don't know about Wonder Woman or Booster Gold. I don't think I've heard about any of those projects yet, but all of this is coming out. Lanterns, all of this is coming out. Everything I'm going to tell you now is going to be what's happening after all those projects are out, okay? Everything that I'm going to tell you in this video about how to do your DCU is intentional building to the broader universe. Things are going to be set up, including the ultimate villain of this universe. And no, it's not Darkseid.
Right at Man of Steel, some of you were eagerly waiting for Zack's beheading, and now it's your damn turn. The hypocrisy levels of Tempia and the faithful tarts by me on Supergirl are only growing and working on their own exposure, and I am loving it. In the meantime, Snyderverse channels, even yours truly, are having spikes of views and shares. Why? For the same reason Man of Steel had a surge of 230% during the week of Diapaman's release. Normies know the truth. They want reality, not this damn makeup based on fears and silly emotions like, oh, we need to keep the crappy DCU or else we won't have superhero movies, DC movies anymore. Boo-hoo. No, Gunn Tornadoes. Marvel is about to reboot their universe, and a reboot now would be just so timely. Just like Abadi and DeLuca summon some Flash crazy stuff and let them reboot this gum-tart church fanaticism to its end now. Facts are, Gunn Tornadoes, for your demise and depression, that Shinigamoons is as toxic as a lunatic, narcissistic, crazy leader of a cult that you are pleasantly part of. And under a biblical stance of a man who gathered the fulfilling of so much prophecies and proverbs around him, well deservedly so. You are fanatics, you are codices, not Snyder offense. Sorry, not sorry.
James Gunn has spent his time as a CEO abusing his power, essentially. James Gunn would go after people, go after fans, go after scoopers who had accurate information on his films. Grace Randolph was accurate on saying that there was going to be a plot involving a Middle Eastern country in Superman. She was right on that, and then James Gunn humiliated her and brought hate against her, saying that was wrong, even though that proved to be true in the end. He lied about Ben Affleck going to do a movie. He lied about Gal Gadot coming back. James Gunn should not be hurling his power against people who don't have as much power as he does, because when you're a person like James Gunn, when you have that massive, millions of followers, and everyone has to take your word as word of God because you are the CEO, like, you are being abusive with your power. When James Gunn, let's say, for example, Josh from Den of Nerds has a scoop, he asks James Gunn about it. James Gunn doesn't need to reply, but he does. And then, he downs him as like a guy who lives in his parents' basement. That is James Gunn bring all of his millions of followers out over to now dogpile this one individual fan, this one individual scooper, and humiliate them and have to have them go through that. He just enjoys humiliating people. He would do it to the trades. Remember that Maxima casting information? The actress from Andor was allegedly cast as Maxima, and James Gunn came out and said that that was absolutely false for some reason, and so I can't remember if it was Deadline or Hollywood Reporter, they had to retract. Gunn humiliated an actual professional trade for Hollywood over this Maxima casting. And why? The information is correct. It's Maxima. Who cares about that character? It's not going to wreck the movie either way. And that brings him to this point where the bigger people are not willing to run cover for him. The reviews for Supergirl was brutal because James Gunn has just made enemies of everyone. The fake love for the characters of Superman and Supergirl that you just see is not actually there on screen. This is the guy whose big vision for Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad, after claiming he was such a massive fan, was for her to hook up with a random warlord, kill him, and then go on this crazy killing spree where she all of a sudden has this insane martial arts skill. He is the reason why that awful Harley Quinn show got more seasons, and he self-inserted himself into the show. His tastes, his crude, disgusting, juvenile tastes, do not add up with the grand majority of DC characters, which is why we get this awful version of Supergirl. And his DC universe fell into the same preaching and pandering that every other, major franchise in Hollywood has. So in my opinion, it's been very fun to watch James Gunn fall on his own sword, because I have no sympathy for the guy. He acted just, so high on himself, saying that he will not greenlight scripts unless the script is solid, and he is different than Marvel. He's going to give these projects so much post, and he is going to avoid having awful third acts, and he is just so much better than Marvel and all that, only for him to once again fall on his own sword. Pride comes before a fall. His universe ended even more quickly than Zack Snyder himself. I just feel nothing but vindicated that I was right from the very beginning that this was a horrible idea. Such is life. I'm just ready to move on from all of this so we no longer have to deal with the James Gunn isms. I guess the last thing we have to do is just see how terribly Man of Tomorrow turns out, and then we can finally move on from this person. But James Gunn, you 1000% deserve this failure.
Well, what's spare for the DCU's future? Let's discuss it soon in another video, but let me spoil you. It's no good. Now, don't you want to see greatness, the cool, finally back on pop culture and superhero movies? I know I do. Maybe I'll make a video about it in the near future either. Whatever the case or path you choose, hit like, subscribe, share, and thanks for watching so far. And I'll be sure we'll be meeting in the future.